Good evening and a very warm welcome to Radio and Television Tonga News Package for the hour. Looking at today's top stories, more road fatalities have been recorded within 1 week. Robot boat Max Lima has returned from an initial survey of the underwater Tongan volcano that erupted explosively back in January. And the Hawaii 12 People's Representative by-election held today. Now I'm Vafonato Bola with the stories in detail. Tonga Police recorded one road fatality this morning at around 2 a.m. Deputy Police Commissioner David Vailea told Radio Tonga News this morning the deceased is a girl aged 20 from Paho. He says the crash occurred at approximately 2 a.m. this morning on the bypass road at Halaleva, where the van was heading from the east and crashed into a fence and an electric pole. This morning's incident is the 8th road fatality recorded by police since the beginning of the year, compared to 6 road fatalities last year. Vailea says they're still investigating the incident to see whether there was alcoholic involvement, but however, police believed that speeding was involved. The driver died at the Vaiala Hospital after she sustained serious injuries to her head. The Police Commissioner Shane McLennan has denied the news that has been circulating around that some senior police officers in the police ministry are suspended from Tonga Police. He clarified this during a press club program last night with the Media Association of Tonga. Alice Tupo has more on that story.
The purpose of the program is for the Police Commissioner to clarify on the issues of reforming the Tonga Police hierarchy. Shane McLennan says that is not the case in Tonga Police, but there are some changes or restructure in deputies police commissioners' positions. He says that when he first arrived in Tonga, there were 6 deputy police commissioner positions, and under that, there was 1 chief superintendent position, and then the next level down, superintendents.
The structure and the span of control just didn't sit right with me. So over a period of time and consultation and workshopping, we've landed in a space now where we have a commissioner, 3 deputy commissioners. We have now 6 chief superintendent and a civilian chief superintendent equivalent. So, and we've gathered all of our like units together into 3 commands. So we have a Chief of Staff Command, an Operations Command, and an Operations Support Command. It's also important for me to outline the fact that of the 6 deputies that were in place when I arrived, only 3 of those were substantive on the rank, so they were already existing deputy commissioners. The other 3 were in acting deputy commissioner roles, some of them short-term and 1 long-term. So I've heard some rumour, or call it criticism if you like, that that may have been unfair, that 3 deputies lost their deputy commissioner jobs and so forth. Well, that's not the case, because they were acting. They were substantive, or are substantive superintendents. All 3 of those are now occupying acting chief superintendent roles.
He adds that they now have a senior executives command structure and that no one has been suspended.
So there's a commissioner, a deputy, and chief superintendent. So those 3 seniors haven't been penalised at all. They haven't been suspended. They're still working for Tonga Police, barring 1, Ashley Fua, who's only recently taken some leave. He has lots of leave, like a lot of our people. So he's on. He's away now for 6 months, but 4 months of that is on accrued annual leave, and then I've given him 2 months leave without pay. So collectively, he's working on a very, very important project for the country with the UNDP. So he's working with the United Nations Development Program on the response to the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai recovery phase. So that's a great opportunity that we saw for Ashley Fua to go and undertake that role, because He's well experienced and equipped to do that, to help the recovery effort from a whole of government perspective. But once he's finished that role and comes back to Tonga Police, he will come back with that whole experience, that work experience, and that collective network that he will bring back with him. So I see that as a very positive and valuable effort.
McLennan says he's extremely proud with what he sees within Tonga Police, as he met and worked with very good people and very strong leaders. Meanwhile, he also highlighted their 5 main focus points: working as one team, same team, support for the frontline, and others. Meanwhile, other issues were also raised by the police commissioner, including their development plans, as such they are providing training to all police officers and stations in Tonga, including Vava'o and the outer islands, on the important issue of custody management and other different issues. Not only that, but they are trying to improve the process of recruiting new recruits to ensure they are strong enough in various aspects of police roles. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
3 people who went missing on board a boat on Tuesday evening are yet to be found, according to the latest search by Tonga Police today. Alice Tupo again with the detail.
The Deputy Police Commissioner David Avainea told Radio and Television Tonga News this morning a team from the Tonga Police and other related stakeholders are still searching for the missing bodies. Vainea adds a search was suspended last night as the search boat needed fuel and resumed today in the eastern side of Tongatapu at the areas of Nuku'alofa, Ohole, Nakolo, and Whamotu. These 3 missing people were traveling from Tongatapu to Ewa together with other 3 passengers. It was confirmed yesterday that 1 passenger was found dead and another 2 are at the Viola Hospital. Meanwhile, the Police Commissioner Shane McLennan has conveyed his condolences together with the Tonga Police to the passenger who was found dead. Meanwhile, police are still searching for the remaining 3 missing people. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
The uncrewed surface vessel McSlimer has returned from its survey at the Hongaha'apai volcano as partway through mapping the opening of the volcano or the caldera of the underwater Hongaha'apai volcano. The vessel, developed by the British company Seakit International, was surveying the volcano as part of the second phase of the Tonga Eruption Seabed Mapping Project led by New Zealand's National Institute of Water, or NIWA, and the Atmospherics Research, funded by the Nippon Foundation of Japan. Speaking to Radio Tonga News, Operation Manager Chris Lacey says the data collected so far has confirmed earlier reports of continuing volcanic activity from Hongaha'apai.
So the reason we're here is basically to find out more about what happened in the eruption in January 2022. We came here to survey the sea floor. Yeah, so originally there was the one island out in the Hunga, so it was about 100 meters above sea level, and after the eruption it's now, we estimate, about 850 meters below sea level. So that's quite a bit of land to go. So our mission here is to find out what's down there and yeah, just basically get some data to sea floor.
Did you guys find new things like stones or something?
Well, the biggest difference we found was the depth difference. So as I said, it used to be 100 meters above sea level, now it's 850 meters below sea level. And there's a big, huge caldera, so an outer cone that stretches a couple of miles between the 2 islands, the new Tonga and Hongaha'apai. There is minor activity down below, so there's plumes being ejected from the bottom of the crater, as well as kind of hot gases and minerals and stuff like that. But it's by no means as active as it was at January.
Do you guys have any prediction that... Operation Manager Chris Lacey added on the significance of the McSlimer vessel and what makes the boat so special.
Our USV McSlimer here is it can be controlled completely remotely. So while this vessel was out over the caldera over the past 2 months, it's actually been controlled from England. So we, in our office in Tolsbury, 16,000 kilometres. So basically the furthest place you can be from here, it's being controlled by there, completely by satellite.
Meanwhile, the uncrewed surface vessel Mexlima team will leave Nuku'alofa this Saturday with the boat shipped back to the United Kingdom. And the by-election for Hawaii 12 People's Representative was held today. Supervisor of Election Peter Vuki says there are 15 calling stations altogether, with 10 calling stations in Hawaii, which is the same as last year. The by-election for other voters of Hawaii 12 in other islands like Tongatapu was held at the Epworth Hall at Kolofo'o, while Vava'u is being held at the Governor's office, and the other islands are held at their government representative's office. Only 5 candidates were registered for the by-election of Hawaii 12, including Simone Kapetawa Vuki from Felemea, Mo'ale Finau from Hihifo, Sione Finau Tapu from Holopeka, Tevita Tupulotuvi from Pangai, and Tevita Vaikona from Uiha. Peter Vuki says that they hope to get the by-election result out by this evening. The by-election is to replace the late former People's Representative Willie Manuel Pangai Hingano, who passed away on the 10th of June this year. Sport is up next with Alice Tupo, proudly sponsored by Pacific Timber and Hardware.
Welcome back. From the soccer field, the Tonga Football Association launched their 2022 programs together with the Ministry of Education and Training as part of the emergency response package for schools in Tongatapu, Vava'u, Hawaii, and Ewa, and very soon for the Tuniwas. They aim to reach 5,000 children by December. The Ministry of Education and Training signed a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with the Tonga Football Association in 2020-2021 to work collaboratively in promoting students' interest in soccer and fitness. The guest of honor was the Australian High Commissioner to Tonga, Her Excellency Rachel Moore. During the program, Her Excellency talked about the critical importance of children being able to just play during post-recovery efforts so that children can get back to normalcy as soon as possible for their mental health and well-being. The CEO of the Ministry of Education and Training, Dangina Moimoistin, also spoke about the ministry's support of a Tonga Football Association through their unique MOU to ensure children have access to fun sporting activities during school, where it can help build a variety of skills and also keep children fit and healthy. The Australian and New Zealand governments provide financial and technical support of Tonga Football Association's sports programs. Tonga Football Association President Lord Vehala and General Manager Lui Aho, staffs, coaches and players were in attendance as well. And from the Futsal League competition, both the Tonga Football Club women's and men's team won back-to-back title. The Veitonga Football Club has retained their title for another year in the Tonga Football Association Futsal League competition after both their women and men's senior teams won both finals last night at the Atene Indoor Stadium. The curtain raiser match for the finalists were the senior men's final, where Veitonga Football Club went up against Lotapai United in a very exciting match, which resulted in a win 3-0 to Veitonga Football Club. There were also a few of the Tonga national football men's team players playing on each team as their home team, and they showcased the quality of the Tonga national team. 2 goals in the first half were scored by Sione Watahi and Olivetti Vai, with one last goal scored by Tonga's national team striker Hemaloto Bolovili, who also scored in the second half, securing a back-to-back victory in the Tonga Football Association Futsal League competition. Meanwhile, Veitonga Football Club faced a formidable opponent, the Nuku'alofa Football Club women's team. Coming from down in the bottom 4 in last year's Tonga Football Association Futsal League to the finals this year, the Nuku'alofa Football Club showed great grit and determination to make to this year's final. Both teams went into second half of the game with still no team scoring, and then with a few minutes left before full-time, Tonga Football Club's Ana Bolovili scored a kick from the corner to seal the win for their team. Tonga Football Association Futsal League Cups were then presented to both teams at the prize-giving ceremony at the end of the finals, followed by the closing remark from the Tonga Football's president, Lord Vehala. Next was the presentation of individual awards. The women's golden boot went to Mele'agolo from Havelu Football Club and Finehika Final from Fahefa Football Club, and for the men was won by Opesi Tuifangaloka from Veitongo Football Club. The women's golden gloves goes to Caroline Foto from Nuku'alofa Football Club, and the men was given to Manasseh Talakai from Lavenga Tonga Football Club. The women's golden ball was taken by Ana Bolovili from Veitongo Football Club, and the men's went to Hemaloto Bolovili from Veitongo Football Club again. And that's sports news.
That wraps up this evening's news package, but before we part, here's one final look at today's top stories. More road fatalities have been recorded within 1 week. Roped Port Max Slimer has returned from an initial survey of the underwater Tongan volcano Tonga that erupted explosively back in January. And Hapai 12 People's Representative by-election held today. That's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Vai Pola. Have a pleasant evening.